My name is Chris Ying. I'm the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Lucky Peach. I always forget when I come to do these that I'm supposed to introduce the person. And in this case, I'm introducing myself to you for the first time. I've never met Chef.
How are you, man?
But it is a great honor for someone like me. It's a tremendous privilege to get to sit here and talk to you. I think that as evidenced by how many cooks I see in here, like in chef's coats, and people have come up here to take photos with you, people who are sort of in the know in the food world, really, really admire and respect you, and I am among those. José Andrés is the chef and owner of the ThinkFoodGroup, which includes innumerable restaurants across the United States in Miami, Los Angeles, DC, places like Mini Bar and Haleo, and now Beefsteak, which we'll talk about today. But when you started cooking, Chef, did you intend to be speaking someday at a tech campus in Mountain View? Is that why you set out cooking?
No, this is a cool place to be. I've been here already a few times, and I came as a translator, and nobody could understand anything. So now finally they invite me as a speaker. And look at few people show up, so that's great. But yeah, I feel good. I don't know you guys, but I'm 45 and I look already so old with 3 daughters. I look myself in the mirror and you wonder. But since I was very young, I knew very clear that I wanted to be a cook. My father, my mother very much planted the seed of that, helping my father making Sunday paellas for anybody that will show up in the middle of the forest, and helping my father gathering the wood, and helping my father make the fire. And I fell in love with making the fire. Until one day I told my dad, why you don't let me cook? He said, no, I need you to do the fire. Yeah, but I know how to make the fire. Make somebody else make the fire. I want to cook. No, I need you to do the fire. Paella and fire are hand by hand. If you don't have the right fire, it'll never be a right paella. One day I got very upset. Very upset, a big tantrum. He sent me to the forest. Go to the forest. When we finished, he came and said, my son, I know you were upset because I'm not letting you cook. And you think that cooking is the most important part. But actually, I gave you the most important task. That was making the fire. If you control the fire, then and only then, one day you'll be able to cook. Since then, I've been always trying to search what really is my fire. What really is what holds everything else. The cooking is the obvious. But when we are able to achieve success in the non-obvious is when things begin moving. So sorry for this answer to your question.
Don't apologize. It was poetic. It was beautiful. It's interesting, you bring up your upbringing. I tend to believe that environment, whether it's sort of social, cultural, literal environment, has a lot to do with creativity. And you are a Spanish chef. You worked at, El Bulli, and so many great innovative cooks have come out of El Bulli, out of Spain specifically. Is there something about the Spanish culture, about the Spanish culinary world that produces innovative cooks like you?
It's very funny because it's this list called the 50 best, which is the biggest gimmick of marketing in the history of mankind. But I'm telling you this, and I will love to be in that list. So on one side, I tell you it's a big gimmick and marketing thing. On the other side, I'll tell you, I'm working hard to one day be in that list. But Ferran Adria was #1 for many years, rightfully so. And now, for 3 years already, Joan Roca, #1 again. It's funny because when I was 16th, Joan Roca, who has just been named the best chef in the world, he worked in my station 1 month with me as my assistant. He was 5-6 years older than me. And I really love that man. He's from Girona, 1 hour away from El Bulli, 1 hour away from Cadaqués. Cadaqués is the land where Dalí, the great painter, had his house. And he was nuts, like a clown. You can only paint what he painted, being nuts. Well, the great Dalí right there, I don't know if it's the winds, but out of that area has been a lot of creativity. And this will be funny to study, how the environment can create creative minds. Ferran Adria, as much as you say today, is many great chefs in the world. The last revolution we've seen in the last 15 years, 20 years, only happened because we had two great minds that born in the same family with the same last name, Ferran Adria and Albert Adria, and everybody has benefit from it. Everybody. It is some credibility, we give them some kind of, some people may say is the best chef in the world, but it's not obvious. We will only see how obvious it is 100 years from now. But Ferran Adria and El Bulli, single-handed, they inspire everybody around them. I mean, the Spanish chefs. Spain was the first country having conferences where we all share everything we knew. From, if I'm working with MIT now on water surface tension, and I'm creating 5 new dishes, only understanding principles of water surface tension, and we're able to develop a flour that is able to grab water. I will go and I will share this with all my friends. If the chefs of Spain were the CEOs of every pharmaceutical industry in the world, today will be zero sickness in the world. That's how big creativity has been in Spain. Before Ferran were others, but Ferran, single-handed, is the person that is like the Google. Single-handed, ignited a revolution in culinary thinking that is going beyond cooking. I'm very happy that I was part of that Big Bang that exploded. And I was there, I saw the star explode. I saw Ferran getting a piece of gelatin in my station. I had the fryer, almond gelatin. And I was frying, I had the almond gelatin for one dish, and I was frying artichoke chips. And I could see that he was looking at the gelatin and looking at the hot oil. And I see, I cannot believe this guy is gonna do it. He got the hot gelatin and put it in the hot oil. Common sense, what it will tell you. If you Google it, water, hot oil, it will tell you, don't do it. You know, oil is hydrophobic. Actually, it's royalty. It doesn't like to be mixed with water, which is the poor, lowly people. Well, he did it and exploded. But he knew it was going to explode, but maybe not. Nonetheless, many years later, that gelatin of almond looks like milk gelatin. It looks like the bechamel that in Spain we make croquetas, the fried croquettes. 8 years later, Ferran created the liquid croquette. You see? That's what happened there for a very strange reason. He was not prepared, he didn't study, he was a dishwasher. You can barely understand when he talks because he's thinking so much quicker that his words don't make it into his tongue to really deliver what he's trying to tell you. He doesn't care. He's happy with himself. He knows where he's going, and if you try to follow, he'll be happy you come. But something happened in Spain, and we should be investigating what it is. I don't know if it's a spore from a mushroom. I don't know. But it's very funny to understand that it's an environment that created a lot of creative people in a short span of time that we connect. When I bring new people to my creative team, like, that's not a good example, but you know, I read that Saddam Hussein only covered himself with people from his town. Okay. So myself, I feel very protected bringing people from my town. Because in the moment I bring them, I don't need to tell them anything. But if I show them a squash blossom, and I say, you know what we should do? I don't have to say anything else after the question mark. Everybody's going to get that squash blossom, and it's going to start working. And we're going to come up with a lot of things without the squash blossom. And this is something like it's in the air that is not tangible. It's an intangible. And it's very fascinating when the click happens. I guess all of you, Googlers of the world, you are kind of the same DNA rare species. That somehow all come here, and the ones, everybody working in different things, but it's like a common, in my world, I try to bring people that we kind of were touched by the same spores and same strange things that are in the air, water, and soil of Catalonia and that part of Spain.
I mean, we've only just met for as long as I've been sitting here, but I already appreciate that you've said 50 best is a gimmick. You've mentioned Albert Adria in the same breath as Ferran, which people always forget about. And you're to Saddam Hussein as an inspiration. So these are all powerful things to me.
But bad things can also show good.
Sure.
So, shit.
You know, I tend.
I see the title.
I think that I think it's interesting. You know, I want to just stay on this idea of sort of environment and creativity a little bit longer. You know, I always think it's really appropriate and interesting that so many innovative tech companies are based in Northern California in the Bay Area, and not in, say, Los Angeles or New York. And I really tend to believe, or Washington D.C. I think that it has to do with, you know, whatever spores are in the air here. I think that you're a decidedly Spanish chef. Your background is in Spain, but your empire is in America. And so, what is it about America in general that is, you know, suitable or fertile ground for your type of cooking or your restaurants?
I don't have an empire. I have 21 restaurants.
I have none.
But my dream is one day to have a unicorn. I want to be worth $1 billion very soon. Right now, I think my company is worth some stupid partners of mine pay for 30%. So technically, my company is worth $30 million, which is kind of funny. I came with $40 to America, so it's a good start. But then you see that some other companies are worth $1 billion. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm only worth 40. And it took me all these years, so I'm trying to speed up that. So you tell me about America. I was in the Spanish Navy. I was the cook of the admiral. And I was like, really? I saw when I was little in the port of Barcelona with my father a ship called Juan Sebastián del Cano. It's a midshipman training ship for the Spanish Navy. And I told my dad, what I have to do to go in that boat. Once you are old enough, you'll join the Navy. And then, if you're lucky, you'll go on that boat. Many years later, I was lucky. I always look at the stars. I say, please, and then things happen. I go to the Navy. They don't put me in the ship or give me the opportunity to choose the ship. They put me to cook for the Army. Are you kidding? I'm coming from working summer after summer for 16 hours a day. I can go to see the world, and they're putting me in the house of the Admiral. You know, it's like desperate housewives of the Navy, handling with the wife, which they're adorable, but you know what I mean. And finally I went, I knock on the door, and I told the Admiral, if you knock on the door, things happen, right? Like when you put any word in your thing. Thing happens. I began looking for something, and I end somewhere else. It's magnificent. It's a very powerful thing if you think about it. Me, most of the time, when I put the word, I end somewhere else. Like right now, that I'm trying to tell him what's happening in America, and I'm going back to Spain 30 years ago. But it's an end to this. So he grants me the permission. His wife is screaming. Almost they had to just bring her against the door because she didn't want me to leave. Don't go, Jose. I go on the ship. I come to America. I arrived to Pensacola. One of the flags there, they celebrate the 5 flags, is the Spanish flag. I'm like, shit, I belong here. I knew it. I arrived in New York. I finished my Navy, and I'm like, where do I want to be? I wanted to be in America. Why? Because I could sense that one guy could be on 5th Avenue with an ugly, smelly, dirty hot dog stand and be his own king in his own kingdom. And if you can succeed selling hot dogs in an ugly cart with hot dogs that you don't know how many bacteria they have around them, but then nothing happens because technology is making those hot dogs, used to be unbelievable. You can leave them in the street for a year, nothing happened to the hot dog. Yeah. That simple thing of seeing that so many people that were non-Americans, that you will go Queens, you will go the little Colombia, and it'll be their repas stand. So shit, these things happening here. So me coming to America became the biggest university of my life. I left school when I was 14, 15. And my life university has been around places that really motivate me. So for me, coming to New York was life experience. And I wish I knew 25 years ago what I know today, business-wise. Because once you understand the business side, any dream and creativity you have, you can make it happen on your own. You don't need of anybody else. So I fall in love with America and the dream that anything is possible. And that I repeat this all the time, and that Winston Churchill is one of my most inspirational phrases I ever heard, that success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And if you apply this to your life, shit, life is great. You know, just you are trying to make an omelette, and you go up in the air and breaks down. But shit, change the name of the dish: scrambled eggs with potatoes. Simple. But you can apply this to more serious things. And I learned that when you keep changing the name of the dish, amazing things happen to your life. If you keep complaining that your omelette broke, nothing will happen. If you all of a sudden change the name of the dish, all of a sudden you create something else. Every time you flip the omelette, take the pen out and let it break. It's big fucking creativity. Imagine when we apply the same things to very serious things. Amazing things will happen.
It's always so interesting to hear someone in your position talk about things like that, because we really, Americans, we romanticize Spain, Italy, Japan, Turkey as these like amazing places to eat and go, and you know, we never think we have anything like that here, but there's something romantic about Americans' food culture as well. I want to talk a little bit about innovation and minibar and creativity. And minibar, to me, your restaurant in DC strikes me as the most difficult kind of restaurant to have. It's so intensely experiential. It's not just come in, sit down, eat, leave, you know, and there's so much going on, and people come into your restaurant expecting something they've never seen before. And in the wrong hands, those are the worst restaurants that you can possibly go to if somebody doesn't know what they're doing. So, you know, talk to me about like your process, and I mean, obviously so much of it has to do with your experience and the fact that you know what the fuck you're doing, but you know, how often do you have to edit yourself? Where do these ideas come from? Like, how do you push without pushing too far and losing people?
First, I try not to lose myself. And then when I achieve that, first is understanding the team, right? If you are one brain and one person alone, it's very difficult, especially today that I think we have so much information. I mean, in part, you are the problem of so much information. Yeah. But then when you are able to focus, really, amazing things will happen. So in the old days, cooks, we will go to the market, we will buy our carrots and our chicken. We'll come to the kitchen and we'll repeat the traditional dishes of the past. That's what we've always done. All of a sudden, you move away from your comfort zone. I guess every one of you, sometimes you have to move from your comfort zone. If you are surrounded by the same people, from the same expertise as you, is one moment that you become part of this circle that then nothing else comes, right? It's good that you are able to, like, it was a comet that came from another galaxy and is the one that got the first cells of life to Earth, right? This is the same in creativity. You need to be impacted by others to keep creating life. And if you are not impacted by others, you have to become a meteor on your own or a comet on your own and live and try to crash against another planet in another galaxy. And things will happen. That's what I've always been trying to do. Still, I go to the markets. Put them the video. But I go to the markets and I do this. Put the video of the market. But it's for today, yeah? Oh my God. And then I go to the market. No, the market. Quick. So I go to the market. But I'm tired of buying. And it's actually a terrible example of creativity because nothing happened out of that. The only good thing is like in the worst day of the market, the coldest day of the market, with the least amount of vegetables in the market, we were able to bring life to the market. So I got these 120 kids from Asturias, my home region, who for some strange reason, they adore me. And they came driving all night to be in Washington with me. Because I told them, if you come this year, I'll invite you lunch. Shit, they came 6 hours driving. And once I'm there, what do I do with them? They had their instruments. This is very unorganized. I took them to the market. And I got all my chefs, and we got pans and pots. And we began making noise. But noise began getting a rhythm. And rhythm, by art of magic, became being surrounded by instruments. Some of them are local musicians. And all of a sudden, violins will start playing. Cello will start playing. Trumpets. People clapping. All of a sudden, the everyday market that you go becomes something else. That's what I try to do every day. So, said that, I try to go to Seattle, and I knock on the door of Del Chihuli. What the fuck you want? I say, I want to work with you. And I create an entire series of dishes inspired of Del Chihuli. Or I go to MIT, which I don't understand a word those guys are trying to tell me, but I look very smart. And because now, for some weird reason, I've been teaching at Harvard, everybody believes that when you are in a room, you know what they're talking about, which is fascinating, right? I'm like, because you know, Jose, what we're talking about? I say, sure, yeah. Yeah, I know. I know this question of energy, sure. And this is what happens. I began going away from my comfort zone every single time. Every time I can. And you begin learning. And when you talk about meat, now it's not meat, it's pH. And what is the pH of meat when they kill meat? What is your pH? You have no clue. You have to Google it. And probably the information will be wrong because in so many places to get information. So I began going to places. You move away of your comfort zone, life changes in amazing ways. You want to see a video? Would you like to see a video of my mother's cheese and almond transformed by me, or a spring garden inspired on Del Chihuli?
Which one's your favorite?
What kind of people are you?
Let's see.
I mean, I asked you a question and you answer me back. Give me a break.
Let's see your mother's dish.
Huh?
Let's see your mother's dish.
Okay, 2 ingredients only: almonds and cheese. You know what I'm talking about? Are you understanding English? So this is my mother's almonds and cheese. A very traditional tapa what I'm about to do. We fry almonds. Who can fry almonds? Everybody can fry almonds. We fry almonds. Marcona almonds, the best almonds in the world. Now California is under fire because you guys are ending the water in California because you produce so much almonds. Give me a break. Almonds, water, we blend it. This is a very high-tech dish. We're making like peanut almond butter, right? We put it on a pacojet, and that machine allows us to get even a thinner butter, okay? You see how cute? Wow, that's the best almond butter in the world. You have to be peanuts to have peanut butter once you taste this. Then we add cream, and we blend further. And now what we've done, we changed the form of the almond. Why we did that? Because the almond tells me, Jose, I am tired to look like my other almonds. I want to be different. I want to be different for my life. I'm tired of looking like an almond. I don't want to be recognized.
It's like Bruce Jenner of almonds.
Yep. We use liquid nitrogen that now every single food critic finger points not too long ago. Oh, this chef is not natural. He's using liquid nitrogen. Shit, we can use a microwave and it's okay. And take a look what happens. The almond is being changed. Now it's frozen. And it's frozen and the form has been changed completely. Now the almond becomes something like you can help the dreams of anything else. And that's the dream of cheese. Look at what happens when it melts. It goes back to its natural state. But by applying temperature and changing its form, we were able to change an almond in whatever we wanted. And the cheese tells me, I'm tired of being eaten the same way. Change me. And we are changing it further. And we are making this mousse using nitro oxide, which is an amazing, amazing technique. And there we are able to put this, the lightest mousse in the history of your life. touch of passion fruit, a little bit of the almond Marcona grated. And those are the cheese and almonds that my mother serves to everybody. So did I answer?
Yes. You know, so often people look at when you see that, you understand it. You understand where it came from, why each technique happened. There's no excess move there. You're just doing what it calls for. So often cooking, modernist cooking, avant-garde cooking, whatever you want to call it, gets sort of identified as like a fringe thing. Just like, it's like a crazy thing, it's a fringe thing. But those techniques end up trickling down all the time. And every new cooking technique was weird and off at some point.
Agree.
You've been doing this for a while now. How much have you seen things that were once crazy avant-garde bleed into normal, like what everybody eats?
Starbucks, when you ask for the cappuccino, even I read that they took the cappuccino out of the menu. What they were thinking? Did the CEO press the wrong send button? They took cappuccino out of every Starbucks I didn't know that. I found that on Google this morning. I mean it for a weird reason. If you go, you'll see they have these bottles, the same bottle, and they make whipped cream. But this is gonna be revolutionizing the world even further, because I don't think we began using them yet to its full potential. But you can make mousses that they are butterless, creamless. We can make a mousse out of water. A mousse out of water. Tasty and amazing. So this is a simple, amazing revolution that is going to trickle down for years to come. And food doesn't go to waste because you can conserve, thanks to the CO2 if you are using it for soda or other types, or the nitro oxide. You can keep it for weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and doesn't go bad. So it's a good revolution. Mm-hmm. But one of the revolutions, for example, is over 200 years old. And I'm so sad we are not using to feed 1.x billion people in the world that are hungry, will be canning. If you Google it, and you put canning, you're gonna see one guy shows up, Nicholas Appert. Initially, this was invented in 1810. This was invented because Napoleon Bonaparte, he needed a way to feed the troops. And he was right, he lost the campaign of Russia. Because he lacked food. He was giving 10,000 francs to anybody who will come up with a system. Nicholas Appert came up with a method called aperture, and was the invention of canning. 1809, printed the book on 1810. I'm very proud of this because I own one of the original works signed by him. That was a counterfeiting thing. He didn't sign because he was famous. It was the way to say, this is my invention. And I hold this in high esteem. I wish that today in the third world we will be using canning to preserve the goodness of the earth. I'm not an expert around the world, but Haiti I know well, Cambodia I know well. And agriculture goes to waste because they don't have a way to preserve the foods most of the time. I usually began wondering, how did we make that happen? Why is canning not something like it's more available to the poor of the world? If we were able to start preserving the goodness of the earth, at the very least, they don't have to be spending more energy than the energy they receive to try to keep searching for food. That this is what's happening. The poor of the world is a very simple equation of more energy spent in trying to feed themselves than the food they're able to feed themselves. So they are negative in the calorie equation. If we are able to change the calorie equation, all of a sudden will not be poor people in the world. And the world will be richer because more people with money and non-poor means the world should be doing better. So imagine how technology can be changing the lives of the many by only changing the imbalance of calorie. Simple equation, simple algorithm that you will have to adapt depends on what part of the world you are. Because if you are in the North Pole, you will need more calories than if you are, I don't know, because it's colder or whatever. But anyway, I don't know why I was giving you this answer, but I thought it was a cool answer.
The next way you want to try to revolutionize the world is even older than canning. You want people to eat more vegetables. And I've read you talking about things, and I agree wholeheartedly about this. I love meat, but meat is a little bit boring. There's only so many things you can do with meat.
Yeah.
And so what is it about vegetables that excites you as an eater and as a cook? You're standing up already.
I'm going to give you a round answer.
Yeah, here we go.
So you asked me about vegetables?
Yep.
Who've seen Hannibal? Hannibal Lecter. Do you know my participation on that series? All the food you see is mine. It's actually a great woman, Janie Spoon, who she is the food stylist. And she's the nicest, paints everything. So I've been behind not only of the food, but some of the conversations through the series. I've been in charge of helping create who was Hannibal the foodie. Yeah, it's very sad that this will be in my, RIP, R.I.P., He made Hannibal a foodie. Yeah, I know it's scary if this happens, but you don't believe me? Take a look at this. You don't have it? What? It's not online. It's not.
I feel like somebody in this room should be able to fix this, right? This seems crazy.
Can you Yahoo something? Hey!
Provocateur.
Yeah, but this happened in the back. In my iPad, sometimes keep changing. What the heck? It changes, the searcher. I have to go back to Pullman. I have a bag or something there. How you call it?
Jamón ibérico. Still love your little rare treats, don't you, Hannibal? More expensive and difficult they are to obtain, the better. It's a distinction that adds some
I
expectation.
put that ham in the series, people.
Jamón ibérico.
I put the ham. I create that great moment. Why I did it? A, I'm a killer for anything in Spanish.
What?
Yeah, stop it, out. And I am the importer of Iberico. And with my, no, I am.
Not always.
Stop it. And with my partner, we convinced the USDA to give us the first approved slaughterhouse in Spain. No bribing, use legal. I don't bribe. Well, I fed them good food, but that's no equal bribing. We did it by the book. So I have a personal interest in business on bringing the ham, but I have more than business interest. I have a personal love my country business. Imagine Mario Batale with white truffles from Alba and Parmesan. Fuck Italian cooking without those things. But they have truffles and Parmesan, give me a break. You put Parmesan, it's a good dish. Imagine a Spanish chef without Iberico. So for me, when I was able to put this Spanish thing there, I was so like, here we are, right? What this has to do with meat, with vegetables? That's a very interesting question. Really today, and I do believe has to do with our DNA and thousands of years of evolution, that we are human in one part of our body, but in our part of our brain is totally controlled by our animal behavior. And our animal behavior seems is highly attracted to pure meat. And I do believe is a cannibal in every one of us. We are highly attracted to meat, to fat, obviously to sugar and all those things. But we are highly attracted to meat. We will eat a steak of a pound in a steak restaurant, but if I give you a pound of cauliflower, you will not eat it. It's a natural thing. I've done it. I've been at home, here, a pound of cauliflower. And they ate one floret, and they didn't eat any of the cauliflower. But I gave them a pound to everybody. I took it, then I took a pound of steak, I put it. I had to do more steaks. This is my kind of research, which I know is not empirical, but this is my type of research. Unbelievable. So we have to do something. We need to battle. I mean, maybe that there is true that there are aliens that they already kind of put in our brain, so they were able to infiltrate our DNA back when Adam and Eve were created.
Sure.
And now we are really, really all getting fat. And the obesity pandemic is used an alien strategy, really, we've seen movies, to get us all very fat. So when they come to recollect, because we are like a flock of people, and has to be Hannibal, we will be big enough that they can take the proteins back to their galaxy. So I mean it. And McDonald's is not really a corporation from Earth. It was created by aliens. So we are all getting fatter and fatter and fatter, and they give you food so cheap. Why? Because if they would, they will give it to you for free. But then we'll be seen as, maybe it's the aliens, because why they will give anybody food for free? Because they want us fat. Now going in a serious way, and it's food for thought, vegetables needed help. And I could do a burger place, but everybody has a burger place. I could do a burrito place. Everybody has a burrito place. Now is the salad gardens that are happening. But I thought, let me do the most difficult challenge. And one that I don't have competition, vegetables. So I created a restaurant. Can you put me the video of the vegetables? Why is Hannibal still there? And I create a concept called Beefsteak. And I created vegetables that misbehave. They're not vegetarian, they're not vegan. They are cool and sexy and fun and nutty.
Huh? Uh-oh.
Great. Hey. Oh, yeah. Why? Because tomatoes go to the jacuzzi naked. Beefsteak, vegetables on leash. Why? Because we need to do that. Somebody has to. Because I do believe, I love vegetables. I do believe it's the right way to be moving forward. Meat consumption ain't not going to happen. I'm going to die before everything is a mess. But at the level, at the rate of production, every time we eat a steak, I don't know how many acres of trees are being cut in Brazil, etc., etc., etc. So I did a concept that my company says, and you need to live by your beliefs. We want to change the world through the power of food. And this is pretentious like hell. I only have 21 restaurants. How I'm going to change the world through the power of food? I wish I did it before, but I was not ready until now. But I do believe that a concept like this can change the world through the power of food. I have one, I have 4 more for this year coming. We're hoping to do 10 next year. We're already gathering the troops way ahead. If I'm going to crash, I'm going to crash quick so I don't notice the pain of failing. But I don't want to go any slower because we don't have time to go slower. So if you come to see, can you find a photo on Google of beefsteak? Put beefsteak, José Andrés, something. And I did a bowl of vegetables that you boil in front of you, we cook in front of you. We put sauce, we put toppings, we put eggs, we put avocado. I even have some chicken. Yeah, anyone. Chris Martin already came 3 times. MC Hammer 6 times. MC Hammer is going to be one of my partners. Gwyneth Paltrow. But then every day, every day we have lines outside. Look at. And I went blue. You know why I went blue? Because I did a study on all the fast food, and the blue was not taken as a color. Everybody's red, everybody's yellow, everybody's green. Blue is totally uncovered. And then in my pre-K school, my daughter's school, pre-K, during 5 years, every September, I will be there after the first year, because they did a voting on their favorite color. And for 5 years straight, by a margin of 55%, and this is not polling, this is real data. You know, polling is so yesterday. 55% or more of every year, the pre-K children voted on blue, their favorite color. Who are going to be my future customers? These pre-K boys and girls. Why I believe blue is the color? I just told you. So it's very empirical. I did it really not blue because my eyes are blue, which they are. That's why my wife fell in love with me. But we did the blue. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, take a photo. That's what we are when you arrive. It's vegetables and toppings. And you choose. And I have no menu. Menu is making us stupid. I want a number 5. What is in the number 5? I don't know, but I like the number. Fuck it, no. Now people talk to each other. This lady that came from McDonald's told me I learned more in a week here than 10 years working in McDonald's. Besides, I pay $3-4 more per hour. Yeah. She learned how to chop. She learned how to look. She told me, I love to look at the white boys on the eyes. She told me. I never thought about that because they are all the time like this. She comes from another part of town where I am. All of a sudden, I see that this is not about the vegetable concept. It's so much bigger. We have already 3 roofs on the top where we're going to be doing little farming. So 2.5% of the vegetables will come from the roof. And I'm trying to convince somebody, maybe Google, maybe Disney, to do a vertical tower where 25% of the vegetables can come from the restaurant above. That will be a dream. That will be real local. Did I answer?
What is exciting as a cook, as an eater about vegetables to you? What do you love about vegetables? I mean, I understand.
How many of you eat meat? Okay, you put the piece of meat in your mouth. What happened the first seconds? Besides you cannot talk, all the juices, right, are all over. And you are like, oh, man, I'm a lion, a lioness. All right, what happened during the next 45 seconds? I want you to do one thing next time. You bite into the meat 5 seconds. When it's finished, take it. Don't look at it. And then put it back again. It's the worst experience in the history of mankind. It's like zombie wars as a main course. It's terrible. On the other hand, a vegetable doesn't have the peak of flavor like meat gives us, but has a very amazing melody through it. And when you are able to eat through entire melody, instead of a horror movie, Alfred Hitchcock going up in the stairs there in Georgetown, you know. Anyway, it's a very different experience. And obviously vegetables, for many, many reasons, are the way to go forward. And I'm not gonna be annoying everybody with the data of the why. But that's why I did the most challenging concept I could do to do my $1 billion, my unicorn, which now I'm sad because now I discovered that it's also a dead raccoon, a unicorn and dead raccoon, that your company is worth 10 billion. So I'm like, fuck. I just learned about unicorns and now it's a dead raccoon, which is a 10 billion valuation in a matter of years. I do believe this company can be worth. But if it's not worth it, the best scenario is that we'll serve as a good mechanism to ignite more people to keep trying those restaurants. Because we need more of those restaurants. Do you want a clown to feed the world? Or you want a chef that tells you a joke or two, but we're serious about the project of doing it? I rather prefer have chefs feeding the world, not use corporations. I have no problem. I want to have a corporation too. But the top of my corporation is going to be changing the world through the power of food. And that will go hand by hand of the failure or success of the project. So.
I have more questions, but I think that we should probably open it up for other people.
Thank you for being here. My question is around how I've observed many chefs as they become more and more capable themselves, have a linear progression of their time and the value they provide to society until they start to separate themselves from the hands-on aspect of the day-to-day activities of the restaurant, right, where they then, through the separation, are able to scale their time and effort, but then become more distant other than maybe influencing at an executive level the menu. So as you attempt to scale your time to provide more and more value to the world, and thank you for that, and it looks like Beefsteak will be that vehicle, or at least your main attempt to scale your time. How are you intending to control for that distance from the food?
The answer is people, people, people. I mean, I read a little bit how Google is organized, but organizational charts are going to be key for future success. And I mean, I went to the World Bank and I gave this kind of a stupid thing of how I do it. Nobody in my company believes me, but that's how we do it. But many organizations are pyramidally organized, right? It's a moron at the very top sometimes, like me. That sometimes you wonder how you made it there. And then you have people under, the CFOs and those stupid titles we give to each other to feel powerful. And the CMOs. My CMO is here. And you know, and interns. So a lot of interns here, right? I have interns too. You know, White House used to have a lot of interns. And then what happens that I am at the top, right? Like a Starbucks, that probably the CEO was thinking loud and say, shit, I hate cappuccino. Somebody heard, and then tickle down. And everybody began saying, shit, he said shit cappuccinos. Shit, we need to take cappuccino out of the menu, man. And this tickles down. The poor CEO just was thinking loud, right? But because he's at the very top and he's almost no connection, the information, what it does, gravity, wow. What's happening? Oh, they've been thinking, wow. But the people underneath are not part of this thinking in any way or form. That's what happens. Then when you have a good guy coming with a new idea, trying to change the world, because you are at the very bottom of the mountain, you try to come up, and then you have everybody else above you with the shoe, you know? Come down, you moron. Took me a long time to be where I am. Now you're going to come. So it's hard to bring good ideas, good information up. And then when you have good people working together, you have people in one side of the mountain, in the other side of the mountain, so you don't see each other. And instead of uniting efforts, sometimes it's good to have different teams, but you need to know that different teams are working maybe towards the same idea. So everything, I do believe, changes dramatically in the moment you began seeing this mountain as a very flat territory where everybody's more able to see each other, where you don't have the weight of delivering information and ideas, that you have to work so hard only to delivering the idea, that at the end you work so hard to communicate the idea that the idea stops being the important thing. The delivery is more important. It's one moment that you put so much effort in the delivery that you are like, you give up even on the idea because you work so hard in the wrong thing. So if we start creating companies that you minimize the hardships of having to communicate those ideas, and I'm going through that problem in my company right now because I got a lot of new people, and it's very interesting. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm doing a restaurant. In the old days, I'm Felipe Stark. I don't understand a word of what he says. He doesn't understand a word of what he says. We had a fucking great restaurant. Because I told him, rhino. He put me, I don't know why, a crocodile, alligator. Because in French, rhino sounds like alligator. I don't know what the fuck it was. But I wanted rhinos in my restaurant, and I end with alligators. That's a true story. In my mid-restaurant, okay? Talk about this bullshit. But it was me with him. Now I have 25 other people. And by the time the sign comes, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Well, and you have no time to give any feedback, because the due date for finishing the project is tomorrow. What? I was in charge of this without anybody around me before. Not because I was the boss, because it was my duty. Anyway, I believe this organizational chart, being flatter, is going to be key. That then they will need to develop into 3 dimensionals as you keep growing, but keep finding ways to these different levels of organizational charts that they should be flat, really working one with each other. I'm not there yet because I'm not so big. But I know that if I emphasize flat organizational charts, success is around the corner. You got it. We need to talk more about it. But I believe in that. I'm not in the middle. I am in the middle, but I could move freely. I don't have to be in the middle to feel I'm in charge. I can go away from the organizational chart and still be in charge. Actually, it's what's happening right now. I hired a new CEO. She came from Ruby Tuesdays, $1.5 billion company. She's far away, 10 times where I am. She's going to be helping me moving my ideas. And I'm moving myself out of the organizational chart. But still, I'm in charge. Or at least that's what I like to believe. So I hope this answers your question. But I believe in these flat organizational charts are going to be key to help me achieve everything I'm doing. Movies, a new series, my TV show, and still I didn't mention your restaurant. My work in Haiti with clean cook stoves. My work in LA that we open a kitchen is going to be feeding 25,000 people a day. We opened it we did the first part yesterday. Going to Harvard to teach in the fall, coming here to share my crazy ideas with you. If I believe in this platform, I'll be able, as a chef, to keep delivering in all those levels because I cannot focus on one thing. My brain doesn't allow me to do that. I will be.
So I have a question about beefsteak.
Yes, sir.
From the vegetables that you found in the US that are not so common in Spain, which ones you found more surprising, like okra or all these things that are not so common in Spain but are common here? And also which vegetables that are common in Spain you miss the most here?
Okay. So my most amazing thing is when my daughter Carlota comes to me, I'm like, Daddy, today we went to the Potomac Park, and we went to what's the name of the path? Oh shit! It has a very funny. The Billy Goat Trail. The Billy Goat Trail. Man, you people are powerful. You know everything here at Google, right? And that's why it's so cool to be here. Like, look at you. Man, you surprised me. What the fuck you know about the Billy Goat Trail? Okay, the Billy Goat Trail is the coolest trail in the history of mankind. The coolest. Let me go back a few centuries before. Lewis and Clark. Okay, let me see how I unite the Billy Goat Trail with the Lewis and Clark bullshit. Because I'm trying to create momentum. The National Archives, right? Where you've been to the National Archives, the coolest institution, all the great documents of the history of America. Yeah, the archivist. For 2 years, I was at the board of the National Archives. Don't tell me how. I mean, everybody was at Kennedy, at Rockefeller, and then Andrés. I didn't fit there, believe me. I went to the meetings like this, and everybody. Anyway. The archivist emails me, like, urgent. Meet me at the door of the National Archives. I'm like, what the fuck? What happened? What I've done wrong? You know, I didn't took the Bill of Rights. I didn't. I thought about it, but I didn't. I go, and he brings me a paper. Yeah, are you with me? Billy Goat Trail, but I'm Lewis and Clark. Yeah? And brings me a document. And the document is a peace treaty between United States of America and the Indian tribes of what is now Illinois. And somewhere in the treaty, they agree about giving an orchard, like a fruit farm, yeah, of something called pawpaw. Pawpaw, that was what gave the opportunity to Lewis and Clark to really make it back to the east on time before the cold weather hit. And they will be suffering and maybe die before they make it back to the east. And they did it because they ate pawpaws. What is the pawpaw and what has to do with the Billy Goat Trail? Because my daughter comes to me and tells me, Daddy, I found a pawpaw at the Billy Goat Trail. Pawpaw, which in some cultures is a papaya. No, that is not papaya. It's the ultimate, most iconic American fruit. All of a sudden, I don't know, that became for me, I bought 100 trees. I gave it to a farmer, friends of mine. They're still growing. But pawpaws are the American fruit that America doesn't have a clue about. And I'm in love with them. And it's an amazing fruit. And I learned it through my daughter, which I was about to smash her. You don't have a clue, cannot be pawpaws, daddy. My surprise when she takes me to the Billy Goat Trail, and in the middle of the forest, I found the pawpaw tree. It was fascinating. That's one of my most amazing ones. And when I play golf, that finally I understood why to have a hat, especially if you play in West Virginia. I have a very unique expertise of putting the ball in the forest. And this should be an algorithm about it, because when I go towards the forest, the ball ends in the forest. But when I go towards the fairway, the ball ends in the forest. I thought if I go towards the forest, the ball will end in the fairway. Always is in the forest. And the hat has a lot to do. Mentally, we're connected. I go in the forest, and what do I find? In the right moment, in the right season, which is now? Morels. And I grab my hat, I fill it with the morels, and fuck golf. So, and then I'm from Spain. Every day I miss less and less. I'm going to Spain next week because he's a friend that with Anthony Bourdain, they're doing a book about Spain. Matt Golding, he has a blog called Kingdoms and Roads. If you like food and you want to follow the best web blog, the best writers ever, besides Lucky Peach. but you are a magazine. He doesn't have a magazine. I love him. So Kingdom, and I'm going with him. I need to bring you two, and then.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you are a magazine.
Roads and Kingdoms is great.
Roads and Kingdoms. Kingdoms and roads.
Roads and Kingdoms.
You know, Matt. So I'm going with him, no? And what I love is Percebes. Percebes is gooseneck barnacle, which has the biggest reproduction piece of equipment in the animal world. It's 250 times its size. I mean, it's really powerful. It's like, in sex terms, it's very powerful. Those are gooseneck barnacles. And I love them because I'm a scuba diver myself. It's true. You don't believe me? who second guessed me? Okay. To finish, put the scuba diving. I'm going to put your scuba diving piece. So gooseneck barnacles, the best ones, as the sea urchin, are roughly at 10 meters under the water. Because there is where you have the laminaria, which is a type of seaweed, which is the tastiest of the seaweed. The seaweeds you find at 1, 2, 3, 4 meters are not as tasty as the one that you find between roughly 8 and 12. So the Percebes, the gooseneck barnacles, coming from there, even they don't need the seaweed themselves, but all the microcosmos of food use around that is great. The sea urchin, the best ones come from 5 to 10 meters underneath. The sea urchin above, on the water level, no good. You go to Hokkaido, the good ones, 5 to 10 meters. The ones at the sea level, no, it's tasty. That's how big I am. Yeah, that was the answer. Well, look at scuba diving. And how a chef also can be helping. You know the problem with lionfish, right? It's a huge problem. The lionfish has nothing to do, people. People, we have everything to do. So now they're doing these championships in the Caribbean that you get a group of friends, and it's hundreds, thousands of people, and you go into the ocean to see who can catch more lionfish in 2, 3, 4 hours. And it's like the best competition in the history. I've never done the competition, but I'm getting ready to be the Jacques Cousteau of lionfish. Look. I love that one. I love I never thought I will be hunting for fish because I like to be with the fish and talk to them. But this is actually, unfortunately, a thing we need because they're killing every single creature in the Caribbean. That was me missing. Yeah. The heck. Look at this, the coolest. You talk about technology. Sometimes technology is what I'm showing you. A very simple, recyclable water basket, water, whatever you call it in English, transformed with this funnel into the best lionfish holder in the history of mankind. I love this. Sometimes technology doesn't have to be the biggest prototype ever created by NASA. Something simple as that can be changing the way we are protecting the oceans. You got a recipe or two with you today. Make this salmon dish at home, please. I highly recommend it. It always works. And I hope to see you soon in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else. Our illegal trail, man. Thank you, guys.